In 2024, South Korea's latest sci-fi Iron Man alien family is finally shocked and happy. Without further ado, let's start the first and second parts in one go. The girl accidentally discovered that her father was under the steel, but he fastened his safety bag and flew into the sky with his father. Iron Man temporarily got out of the car and put on the battle gear at a speed visible to his right eye. At this moment, the uncle in the elevator was already in danger, but he was in charge of Xinhongji. Human weapons were not time at all. Immediately after that, there was another super punch. Taking advantage of the enemy's hold, he seized the opportunity to use his arms to take out the lightsaber and kill the alien. Unexpectedly, the alien's head began to flash a light fist, and instantly shot out 3 red sharp beams of light. At this moment, Steel activated the light key again and stabbed directly into the alien's heart. Unexpectedly, the aliens had a zone of immortality. Arm and took away the energy key in his body, and then 2 trees of light knocked down the steel shoes into the abyss. The alien completed the task, just let go of his legs, and flew away in the UFO. The spaceship approached quietly and drove straight into the underground garage. I was so frightened that I quickly reversed the car to escape, but the UFO kept chasing me. Fortunately, my uncle had good driving skills and I drove the car out of the underground garage smoothly. The uncle's car happened to be if you want to sell a car but are afraid of losing money, you can click on the lower left corner to get an estimate first. There is a second-hand car section on the top to help you get a free estimate. Director Chen's subway cannon was indeed powerful enough to attack immediately, and the streets of the opponent's spaceship were filled with chaos. A bolt of lightning flashed across the sky from the red light tree oil stove. No grass grew anywhere where it went. The steel guide stone was deployed away from the city center first, and soon the pilot broke through the atmosphere. Now was the best time to aim at the opponent. After firing, it was discovered that the red heart could still move flexibly, so Steel hit the bridge with a confused face and fell. Litu, who was chopped to death, turned around and continued to chase Dashu. Without saying a word, he came up and bombarded the surrounding vehicles like popcorn. In the end, the uncle with high driving skills was unable to escape the strong collision of the cars. The uncle flew into the bus. Passed out in an instant. It's not a good idea for Iron Man to become rich. He originally wanted to give the uncle a slap in the face and run away. Seeing that Steel was about to breathe, Zhengren Xiaoai arrived in time and raced against time to help him perform life resuscitation surgery. What was even more frightening was that at this moment, the uncle had awakened the demon in his body. Xiao AI followed the weather and got trapped in, and found that the monster was moving the spacecraft. Steel Shoes shoulders the mission of human beings' light melting, and has restored 99% of its power at this moment. He didn't have time to think too much, so he got into the aircraft and prepared to launch a long-range cannon with the monster. Still locked in the direction, he successfully pushed the monster out of the spacecraft and took it back. At this moment, the iron climbing shoes were worn out, and even if he had a temper, Chiener followed the law and turned the small-time criminal into the spare steel shoes number 1. Time traveled to 750 in an instant. Feng Chao from years ago did not expect that his uncle was still there. Because Iron Man was seriously injured, he was no longer a match for his uncle. The monster instantly turned into a building, but Lo was so frustrated that he used his killer palm again. Click on the monsters, but the aliens die. You have no choice but to use the killer scissors again. No wonder Wu Deheng used laser weapons. You were finally defeated. He was rendered helpless by the monster. Shi Cuihua asked the girl Xiaoli to quickly seize the sword. So Xiaoli decisively appeared on camera and fired. This time I successfully obtained the divine key, but unexpectedly the seal had been broken and the final boss appeared. Everyone looked confused. Sitting down like this, you can read the knife so much that your two cats rushed to help, without even thinking about it. Then the space-time tunnel was accidentally opened, and soon, you found the waste monster on the display screen, so the two of you immediately entered the mode. Everyone looked at it with confused faces, and they never thought that the two swords would be flat but pink. But soon, the police arrived at the scene, but they didn't expect it to be a gun. In an instant, he convinced Dao Shi and put the person into the police car. But in the next second, a truck is approaching. Then the three people came to the underground advertisement, but you explained to Xiaoli that the waste monster is trying to take away the divine key in their hands, but before they can run far, Dada is already killing him. At this moment, the train started to move, and I saw a big body jump, and at the same time, Xiao Ai found the sword god Puxi in ancient times, but Xiaoan activated his Xiao Ai summoned Iron Man's Thunderbolt Chariot. Then the space-time tunnel opened again. In the next second, the two of them returned to modern times. The god of swordsmen is very curious and careful about everything. What was even more embarrassing was that the car transformed into a UFO and shot up into the sky. On the other side, the Taoist priest was still watching Luo on the train and wanted to open the door and leave. What was even more unexpected was that Xiaoli, who had been possessed by an alien, also. But he was no match for Xiaoli at that time, so he could only use escape again, but at the same time, Xiao Ai and Dao Shen have also appeared at Tudian. In the next second, the two men went straight to each other. Unexpectedly, the sword god was nowhere to be seen. It turned out that he was hung on the carriage. So Xiao Ai had no, but unexpectedly, he was taken off again in the next second. Finally learned to control. At the same time, Xiaoli also drove ballistically, and the guide on the other side was already in danger. Oh my god, the purpose of strange monsters is to snatch the divine items. At the moment when Xiaoli grabbed the arrow, the sword god finally made his debut. Ling Guowei came to Xiaoling without any hesitation. It turns out that the attack started instantly. Transfer. No, the monster was instantly screened out of the body in the next second. Xiao Ai arrived in time. Unfortunately, his strength is weak and he is still no match for the crowd. Fortunately, the monster has been At the same time, Xiaoli had also driven to the scene. Instead, he used his mind to control the dragon-slaying knife and slashed at the waste monster. It turned out that Shaoli was the legendary sword god, and then the sword god lying on the ground began to speak out. He used his mind to control him, and the monster gave him a heavy blow. Don't be a tiger, I'm Hello Kitty. At this point, the four heavenly kings once again reappeared in the Shaolin still accepted the task of this strong and bright dragon, but at this moment, the Old Waste has also recovered and the final decisive battle has officially begun. It's just that the Old Waste didn't talk about Wudika again, so he first penetrated to Ehua's palm, and then the Old Waste started to fight back. His target was the magic key in Shaoli's hand. Shen came to the rescue but was still no match for the waste monster, and was instantly hoisted up. At this moment, Xiao Ai didn't pick up the Yen Yudao on the ground, so she slashed at the waste monster. Shaoli rushed onto the spacecraft at the right time. Then Shaoli flew to January and used all his strength to stab the divine key into the heart of the spacecraft. This time it finally hit the target successfully. Then they disappeared, and everyone successfully saved Tom's life and the world from beings. Ho Hishan returned to the 5th generation through the time and space tunnel, but unexpectedly, the sword god discovered that the entrance to the tunnel did not seem to be closed. So the sword god couldn't stand it and rushed to the door of time and space for 1 second, and he returned to 2024 again.